Welcome back to the True Crime Guys podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Michael.
Oh boy, it's upon us. The holiday season.
The holiday season.
Doopy-doo.
Yeah, man.
It's the week. I mean, we're posting this. We're recording Sunday morning, and this will be out on Wednesday. So this is Christmas Eve is when you guys are getting this. Something like that.
Happy Christmas Eve to everybody.
And Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and whatever else.
That's right.
Y'all are celebrating out there.
All of the holidays. I hope they're
if
the
you're a
happiest for all
Grinch, if
you
you're a
guys.
Scrooge and you don't like, actually watched Scrooge last night. Definitely underrated.
Yes, it is.
Bill Murray at his finest.
The Bill Murray version. Very
yeah,
nice.
Of course.
Very nice. Of course. Yeah, I thank you for including us Grinches and Scrooges like myself. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
don't worry, we won't talk Christmas the whole time. But this is, we decided to do something a little different because it is the Christmas episode, and we decided to do something we don't normally do. This is like the equivalent of not opening socks. It's like we're going to surprise you a little bit here.
Okay.
It's like a gift you didn't expect. We're going to do somewhat of a mystery episode. I guess you could call it unsolved or solved, really, depending on the way you look at it. It's on the books, this is a solved case, but a lot of people do not think that it's that clean and cut and simple because there's a lot of questions remaining from this case.
There is a lot of questions, but it's a little more solved, I think, than what a lot of people think, and we'll get into that towards
over
the
time. There's been more and more answers for many of the questions that people. I mean, there's a video that emerged in regards to Elisa Lamm. That's the case we're doing. That went public of her on the elevator that blew up the internet and blew up, like, the public was just like, what happened?
They were dumbfounded. They were dumbfounded. They didn't know what's going on here.
And frankly scared. A lot of people that watch this video were freaked the hell out.
Right. But to me, it looks like someone who's just extremely paranoid or having some sort of maybe like an
episode.
Kind of like an episode, kind of like a freak out, a panic attack maybe. Or maybe even tripping.
But
somebody that could possibly be tripping on something.
So many questions. Like, why is this the only camera? That's one big question for me. Like, why is this the only camera we get?
It's
a big
point.
Hotel. But this is kind of a present to myself, if I'm not going to lie, because I've always seen I've seen the video, but I never had the time to dive into this case and figure out what exactly happened. I've just seen the video and seen like the little headline or whatever. And I think that's where a lot of people are with this. They saw the TikTok that blew up recently. I mean, this case kind of reemerged again recently because the video got put on TikTok, and then it's like all the young people who didn't know about it. You know, the teens that were like 6 years old when it happened in 2013.
Right.
And they're like, "What the hell?
What the hell is this?" I love how like younger teens and kids, they think everything starts on TikTok. They're like, "Oh, that's that thing from TikTok." I'm like, "No, that's from '94 from a cartoon." I'm like, just shut the fuck up. This goddamn TikTok. They think everything starts on TikTok. It's like, TikTok's like less than 5 years old, right?
Right. That's a good point.
But you're going to talk about your little name that you came up for this episode, which I thought was very clever.
Mommy, have you heard about this thing called Waco? I saw it on TikTok. It was this crazy siege that the government did.
Right. Yeah, it's only on TikTok. That's the only information.
You could do this bit over and over again with just like famous events that happened.
Dude, it happens almost on a weekly basis with just my kids. My daughter will come to me and she'll be like, "Oh, that's that song from TikTok."
Did you know there was a terrorist attack on 9/11? I saw it on TikTok.
I'm like, Jesus, that song is not from TikTok. That's fucking Bob Dylan, you son of a bitch.
Hey there, Mr. Tambourine Man. It's a really good song. You should check it out, Mom.
You should check it out. I know, right? You guys heard this song? Another One Bites the Dust? The bass line is amazing. This kid on TikTok wrote it.
I despise TikTok. Yeah. I'll admit that I was just talking about this with my friends. I'll admit that like 10% of the stuff on there is like legitimately funny and I'll laugh, but like I deleted it long ago because I soon realized that 90% of the stuff on there makes me want to jump off a bridge, and 10% of it makes me laugh. And I despise a lot of it because it's just young people trying to become famous, and it's so disingenuous, and it's like a lot of it is not even real. You know what I mean? Like they stage things to make it like to try and get a viral video, and it's not even real. It just
I know.
A lot of it just annoys me.
That's the disadvantage of growing up with the internet. We've seen how these videos are created. We know the behind the scenes. And every time I see a video like that, I just think about the planning and the emphasis that went in on it, and all like you said, all the staging, and it just takes the comedy out of it for me. Because you can look at a video on the internet and be like, "Holy shit! Like that was not planned. that just happened to, like security camera footage when something funny happens, or
Yeah.
someone's filming for like maybe a gender reveal, but then something crazy funny happens on the side, or like those types of things.
Funniest home video stuff.
Yeah, like
old school.
that stuff that you don't plan. But now it's just like everything is planned out. Everyone's playing a character, especially on TikTok. Every person that's on there is like in heavy makeup or in
Do
some
this
kind of costume.
whenever you're watching one. Do this. Picture that person filming it, like what it took to film that. Like, and a lot of times they're in public and stuff. And it just imagine being there and seeing them doing it.
I do that every time
without the phone involved, and it'll immediately you'll look at it differently. You'll be like, oh, this person is just really desperate for attention. It's kind of sad.
It's super cringy. It's super cringy.
They're out in public. They're out in the real world, and yet they're just still glued to their phone trying to get online credit for something. Which we're one to talk when we're doing a fucking podcast right now.
Yeah, but we're kind
we
of
love doing this.
It's an
art. It's a different. I feel like this is long form. I don't know. It's different.
Yeah, but we're talking about things that we genuinely do like. I'm actually being myself on here, and I'm telling you, like, I do like studying true crime. I like talking about it with my friends, and that's exactly what I'm doing on this podcast. You know what I mean? Like, you're getting the real me and you on this podcast. It's not like, I don't know. We don't need to get on all that, man. We need to talk about this Chris mystery that we're doing.
Yes.
We're going to get 1 star with all
what
this
I was
TikTok
what
talk.
I was saying is that I selfishly wanted to study this case. I finally wanted to dive into it, and I'm using the podcast as a reason to do so.
And that is perfectly
because I wanted to know what the hell happened with this, and I feel satisfied. Like after studying it, I really feel like I have a pretty good idea of what happened with Elisa Lamm.
Yeah, me too. I feel good about it. I'm glad
that being
we
said,
did this.
there's still room for people to interpret it different ways. There's still people that believe there's a paranormal aspect to this case.
Oh,
There's
absolutely.
still people that believe that she was being stalked. I mean, this is not a good part of town. This is right on Skid Row.
Yeah.
This hotel is famous for a lot of bad things happening, and we're gonna definitely dive into the history of the Cecil Hotel as well. So,
oh yeah, we're gonna explore every avenue that could have happened.
Strap in and unwrap this gift.
All right, guys, we'll see you on the other side.
It advertises itself as a beautiful, vintage, European-style hotel, catering to young international travelers like Elisa Lamm from Vancouver, Canada. This is the latest chapter in the hotel's dark, storied history, says LA crime novelist and journalist Denise Hamilton.
In so many ways, the Cecil is like, a metaphor for the city of Los Angeles and Hollywood.
Los Angeles and Hollywood.
It's all facade, it's all glitz on the outside, and it's got this romantic, turbulent, sinister history. They rented a room, went up to the room, and then jumped out the window.
Jumped out the window.
Everyone who comes here with hopes and dreams and stars in their eyes, it's the noir side of the city.
All right, our case this week is the death of Elisa Lamm. It blew up in 2013 when a video was released by the police to the public of Elisa Lamm at the Cecil Hotel in downtown LA. She had been staying there for 3 nights, and on the day she was supposed to check out, she did not check out. We'll get into all the details of that. Mm-hmm. But this video released of her on the elevator in the hotel the night that she disappeared, and she's acting very strange. And that is where this case became infamous, was from that video. And we'll dive into all the details. We'll break down the video and all that in a little bit. But I just had to give a quick synopsis of why we're doing this case, why it's such a big case.
Right.
It's basically because of that video, because it is such a strange video.
And if you want to,
her on the elevator.
Right. And if you want to pause this and watch the video, it's only 4 minutes, and it kind of gives you. I mean, it's not going to give away anything. Trust me. I mean, it's a mystery for a reason. But
yeah, and the link, I'm sure, I'm speaking from the past about the future, but I'm sure the link for the YouTube is in the description of this episode right now. So to make it easy for you, we'll make sure that's in there.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I recommend watching the video now, and then we'll dive into all the details of this case.
Absolutely.
So if you haven't seen it, fucking strap in, because it is very odd, and it freaks a lot of people out, that video.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. There's a lot of questions.
Yeah. So, Elisa Lamm, we'll start at the beginning. She was born on April 30th, 1991, in Vancouver, Canada. She shares a birthday with Kirsten Dunst and Travis Scott.
Okay, right on.
It's a good couple there.
Yeah, that is. Dude, Travis Scott, very versatile artist, man. He's involved in a lot of stuff. I follow him
Yeah,
on
I like his stuff.
I follow him on Twitter, and he's always giving shit away. Like people will tweet at him, and be like, "Hey, Travis, I need a PS5." He's like, "DM me your address." I'm like, "Dang
Oh,
it!"
shit.
Yeah, he was like featured
That's
on.
a slippery slope there.
Oh, I
'Cause
know.
Then you're going to get like 100 more. I
Oh,
guess you
well,
just kind
you
of
do.
pick and choose randomly.
Yeah, you help some. It's better than helping none. It's more than what most celebrities are doing. And then
That's true.
he has a skin on Fortnite too. My son has begged me for that skin, but it's like $20 for some of these skins and stuff on here. I'm like, no way,
Dude,
bro, no way.
My nephews are obsessed with Fortnite, and they want the V-Bucks or whatever.
Yep.
Is it Z-Bucks or V-Bucks?
V-Bucks, yeah.
Yeah. Then they're just like fiending for them like a crack addict.
Oh,
like,
I know.
need some V-Bucks. And I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, I'll get you some V-Bucks for Christmas. Calm down.
Yeah, seriously.
Jeez.
Yeah, my
It,
kids are.
it makes it easy for me, as far as buying them gifts. I'm like, all right, let's get them some damn V-Bucks.
Yeah.
And be happy as shit.
Dude, my youngest two had been on it for a while, and we just kept cutting back the time. We're just like, nah, you can't get on there at this time. You're not spending 4 or 5 hours. Okay, now it's 3 hours. Now it's like 2 hours a night, and now they're kind of weaning themselves off of it. They're actually exploring different types of games. My son's been playing PUBG. He's been playing like For Honor.
Dude, PUBG is the shit. That was the last game that I was really interactive with online. Dude, online playing that game with friends is so damn fun. And it's not a perfect game by any stretch, but that's kind of what makes it so fun. Is the glitches happen.
Yeah,
you'd be driving together in a Jeep, and all of a sudden you're like fly through the ground into the ocean, just rolling, laughing.
Yeah, like you take a turn and you're like your teammate just falls out the car somehow. It's like what? It's like I don't know. I
Yeah.
lagged. I'm standing back here at the cactus. Like come get me, bro.
Yeah, I've honestly been out of the video gaming world for the last year or so.
Yeah.
I was never heavy into it, but I'm surprised to hear, as someone who hasn't been really paying attention to it too much, how much staying power Fortnite has. That it's still so big.
Still big. It's because it adapts. It stays current.
Yeah, the digital currency aspect to these games, making these gaming companies, ridiculously rich. It's just the fact that not only are you buying the game, but then you're buying these skins and all these add-ons to the game, and that shit is a huge industry.
It really is. It really is.
It's crazy.
It really is.
But let's stay on track here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Travis Scott and Kirsten Dunst. Any words on Kirsten Dunst? Kirsten Dunst.
Not really. She's not one of my favorite actresses.
I liked
dude.
some of the movies she was in. I liked some of the movies. She was a good. She was good in Spider-Man and
MJ and Spider-Man. Yeah.
what was that? She was in a good rom-com at some point.
Well, she's been in a few. Yeah, she's been in a few. She's just not one of my favorite actresses. You know what I mean? I don't know why. She's just.
Oh, you know what? What was the cheerleading one was freaking awesome. I love that movie.
Oh, Bring It On.
Bring It On is great.
Hell yeah.
The first one, at least.
Bring It On, bro. I remember that movie.
Yeah. Hella underrated.
Very.
All right. So, Elisa Lamm, born in 1991. She had a younger sister named Sarah. She was extremely close to, and her parents had moved to Vancouver from Hong Kong. So they had immigrated to Canada from Hong Kong, and they opened a Chinese restaurant called Paul's.
Huh. Well, simple enough.
Yeah, I guess trying to assimilate by naming it a very North American sounding name,
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah, I guess so. You don't want people not know the name of it either, I guess some takeout
it makes
from
it
Paul's.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like, hey, you want to go to Paul's tonight?
Yeah.
Get some food?
Yeah, exactly. It makes it easy.
It's good marketing.
Exactly.
Elisa, as I mentioned, had that younger sister named Sarah. She was very close to. She was Elisa herself was very outgoing, had many friends, and did well in high school. Like I said, very social. And her favorite book was The Great Gatsby.
Oh, okay.
Tells you a little bit about herself. I think she
it does.
loved wanted a lot of friends. She was someone that ended up being very lonely near the end.
Yeah, ironically, because it seemed like she wanted to be that social butterfly, that successful person who was out on the town, Kind of.
I think this was someone who those years directly following high school was very tough on her, where everyone kind of went off to college and was starting to get their lives going.
Right.
She was doing the same, but at the same time, she wasn't ready for, the high school style of life where you're always around friends and whatnot to take a hiatus like that. It's a tough time right after high school when you realize, I know adults always tell you, oh, you just wait till after school. All your friends are gonna, you're gonna lose them all. You're gonna have like one or two left. So
Right.
you have all these friends, and they're gonna go do their own thing, and you're always like, yeah, whatever. And then it
And
happens.
then it
It
happens.
really does happen.
Yeah, it really does happen. I mean, it's normal. It's part of it. You all go your different ways.
Yeah, but I think it affects some people more than others. It's definitely a hard adjustment because you think about through middle school and high school, all your friends are on the same schedule as you, and like directly after school, how often are you out hanging out with those people? That's like your whole life up until you're 18, and all of a sudden they all go off to college. And I guess if you go to college and you're in a dorm, then it's going to be pretty similar in that perspective. But if you're not, if you're spending a lot of time studying, like right now with the way things are with COVID, everybody's at home and they're doing their studies online, and you're missing out on that human interaction with each other. That's why a lot of people are struggling with mental
I
health.
think
right
everybody's doing that. Yeah, everybody's struggling with that right now.
Yeah.
Man, we're having like a little family get together with like some friends and cousins, very small, this afternoon, and I'm stoked about it, honestly. Like I can't wait to be around other people. Like I just can't wait, man, to have some sort of conversation, and and it helps. It, like you said, that's what stems a lot of these where a lot of these mental health problems stem from. It's just being in your own mind too much. I don't think we realize, at least the average person, how little they are in their own mind. I think everyone should have some time in their own mind. Some people have.
How many
none.
times have we talked about it with this podcast in regards to people who get put in solitary confinement in prison? It's like the worst thing you can do to a human being.
It really is. It really is. And I'm not saying humans never need time alone, but man, that's just too much. I think you need to be around other people. You need people and positive people too. Like you can't just go be around toxic people and expect your mental health to increase. You need to be around people who are positive influences in your life. But I that's definitely some of the best medicine I think you can get.
Yeah. So in 2010, you get her perspective on things that were going on with her in regards to loneliness and her depression. And her blog, the stuff she wrote about in there was I don't know. It kind of spoke to me a little bit. I mean, as we've talked about, we've both had periods where we've struggled with depression, like most people.
Right.
Some people it's a lot more serious and it goes on for longer periods of time. And I think that Elisa was one of them, and she would later be diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And when you're in that manic depressive state, it can go on for weeks and months on end. And no matter what you do, it just continues. And she talked a lot about that in her blog. She had a blog called Ether Fields. And it's still up. You can still find it, and we'll put the link to that also in our show notes. And the introduction on her homepage to her blog was a quote that spoke to me more than any quote I've ever heard before. It says, "You're always haunted by the idea you're wasting your life."
Yep.
And the times where I'm down, and that's where it stems from.
Yep.
It's where I'm sitting there and I'm too much in my own head, and I'm thinking, what more could I be doing? What is my legacy going to be? Yada yada yada. And it's not the healthiest train of thought, I don't think, for happiness.
Right. But
because where that stems from is you comparing yourself to others, and everybody's on their own path and everybody's on their own journey, and you have to just be on yours and not be concerned so much with how it stacks up to others. And that's where I think most people's depression comes from a lot of times.
Oh yes, definitely. People comparing their blooper reels to someone's highlight reels is the number one cause of depression.
And social media can amplify that because you're seeing the best in everybody else's lives.
Everyone's putting up their highlights. Like, you guys have to know. But also, I think that keeping that phrase in mind could also be a positive thing as well. It can always be that little reminder that maybe I should go ahead and
that's
take
the
that
fine
art
line
class,
you walk, though,
or
right? Is that you always know you probably could do a little more.
Yeah.
But man,
But you also have to have time to relax and give time to yourself and have fun.
It's tricky to find that balance, man.
It's
really tricky.
It is.
To find where you could do more without compromising other parts of your life, without compromising your relationships. For me, that's a big one. Is like when I think about what more I could do, I also have to consider, okay, how's that going to affect my family? How is that going to take time away from me being a father and being a husband? And
that's exactly right. And how important is that in aspect of, compared to me being a father or me a husband, how important is that to me and my legacy?
For instance, the job that I'm doing now that I've been doing for a long time, it's not the most rewarding job, but it pays well. It has good benefits and so on, good health insurance for my family. And I think that's part of, a struggle in that I would like to do something that, I look forward to more every day to go to that's, makes me feel good about the progress I'm making in this job. It's it's a repetitive job,
Right.
and I think a lot of people have that, and it can chip away at you a little bit because you just feel like you're maybe wasting time, but at the same time, it's not wasted because it's providing my family with a chance to do what they want to do,
Right.
and it's protecting them,
And it's also giving them a peace of mind and security that you don't
Yes.
realize, and they don't even realize that yet. Your children don't even realize how secure and safe their lives are, but they will look back and appreciate that very much,
right?
and the fact that you started so early. I mean, you're going to get to retire earlier than a lot of people
Yeah,
because
and when I retire early, I can do more of what I want to do that is
That's
rewarding.
right. That's right.
And I also do things outside of the job like this, that are very rewarding, and I'm building upon something.
Right. Right. It has to be a healthy balance.
Yeah. So Elisa's blog was filled with photos of runway fashion designs and her struggles with depression. That was basically the two main threads of her blog, was a lot of photos of new wave, I guess you could call it new wave fashion, very cutting edge fashion design stuff that I was like, to me, it looks like runway fashion. It's like very off the wall stuff that you wouldn't see someone typically walking down the street wearing.
Like they're wearing like a goose dress or something.
Yeah.
I don't know why that always comes to mind, but I've seen that like one time, someone wearing like a goose looking dress where it looked like the goose neck was wrapped around their neck, and then the rest of the dress looked like the goose's body on a runway, and I just can't get it out of my head. Every time I think of runway fashion, I think of that goose dress. I don't know. I don't know why, but I'm like, where is someone actually wearing this? You are not wearing this anywhere unless you're fucking Lady Gaga. But
right.
Anyways.
It's hilarious that you just think of a goose immediately. When you think of
Immediately. Freaking goose dress.
Oh, man. And then I think of Dr. Seuss when I hear goose, because goose juice and moose juice, and I just read so many damn Dr. Seuss books with my kids all the time. Yeah. So in her blog, we mentioned there's a lot of runway fashion pictures, and then she writes a lot about her struggles with depression. We have some examples here. A blog post on November 19th, 2011, she says, "Depression sucks, period. If someone says to you they have depression, don't ask why. There is no why. Don't say, stop being sad. That is not helpful. Just be around and make sure they eat and go outside. Remind them every day it will get better. Tell them every day you love them, and losing them would be unbearable. There's nothing else you can do." It's very true. She has very thoughtful and insightful writings in her blog for someone who was so young. You could tell she had struggled and thought about this stuff a lot, and she was also very smart.
Right.
Because I think that is a good way to put it. Is like, you don't know what's going on. And it's not as simple as to say, "Hey, go work out; it'll be better," because everyone's mind works differently, and a lot of times it is a chemical imbalance. It's not something that just a physical action is going to necessarily fix right away. So
that's right. Yeah, she has a really good grasp on it. You can tell. I mean, she's basically throwing her emotions out there on her sleeve and saying, like, this is the only way that helps me. These are the things that help me. And
I do think doing something proactive and doing something productive, like this blog, probably helped her for a long time. Just writing and getting these feelings out there and just doing something, and then hitting post and knowing, okay, I accomplished that at least today.
Well, even she said,
just doing something can get that momentum going.
Well, she even said, just be around and make sure they eat and go outside. So she's saying that, it is your responsibility if you have a friend that has depression and you want to help them. You don't have to be like, "Hey, stop being sad. Let's go outside." You could just be like, "Hey, I made us a picnic. Let's go out here and eat." You don't have to phrase it to where like they're the one that's sick and you're the all-knowing. I think that's more of a turnoff for anybody. I know when I'm feeling like shit and somebody's trying to tell me the right way to go, it makes me want to put up more of a wall. I'm just like, no, you don't, just fuck off. Like I just don't need that right now.
Exactly.
It's all about the phrasing and the way.
Because it is coming from like a position of superiority. At least it feels that way in the moment.
It can feel like that. Absolutely.
Even if you don't mean it that way, if you're the friend. But
right on.
Yeah. So around this time, as she's writing these things in her blog, she went to the doctor and she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, and put on medication. And I do believe that was helping her, as it does most who have serious mental health issues.
Right.
And a little over 2 years after she had started blogging, she announced that she would be abandoning her blog for another, and that she had started on Tumblr. And we were talking before this about Tumblr. We're very ignorant in regards to Tumblr. We have no idea what goes on Tumblr. I realize it's been around. It's one of the earlier social media platforms, but we don't know how it works. It seems like it's a combination between Instagram, even though it was started 3 years before Instagram, and Pinterest. To me, that's what it looks like, but I have no clue. I've never been on Tumblr.
Yeah, I don't know either. Instagram came out and just totally blocked it.
Right.
just totally threw Tumblr to the wayside. And like I was telling Lauren, I see Tumblr like all the time. I know businesses use Tumblr, small businesses, big businesses. And it's always one of those tags beside business logos. They're like, "Oh, check us out on social media," and you'll see Facebook,
Maybe
Instagram,
maybe Tumblr is the MySpace to Instagram's Facebook. You know what I mean? Like, you know how Facebook came along and then MySpace was just dead immediately.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what happened to Tumblr. Maybe they were the Instagram before Instagram came around, and then it's just Instagram just freaking buried it. I don't know.
maybe, but it still seems like there's a lot of people on Tumblr.
Yeah, it's got to be something different about it that people like. Maybe it's also because it's kind of maybe it's cool because it's not so popular. You know, that type of thing.
Right.
Probably a lot of hipsters. Probably a lot of hipsters on Tumblr.
Yeah,
I'm just being an asshole.
right. They're like, I was doing this before; it was cool, so
Check out my Tumblr,
stay
bro.
in here. Yeah, maybe it was the hipsters that kept Tumblr on the DL. You know,
Right.
They didn't want it to get as big as Instagram. They just
This is our spot to share our mustache wax. And,
they just kept reporting people.
videos of us riding unicycles.
Yeah, yeah, whatever they do.
Whatever they do.
Ride unicycles with trumpets in front of murals in Portland. I don't know. They do.
It's not even unicycles. It's like those bikes with the giant tire and the tiny tire.
Oh yeah, with the bowler hat.
Yeah.
Rolling around with your pipe.
Yeah.
Smoking your LSD or whatever because it's Portland. Everything's legal. Who gives a fuck?
Right. So, back to the story. After graduating high school, Elisa enrolled at the University of British Columbia, and by the start of 2013, she was 21 years old, and she was no longer enrolled in any classes at UBC. She'd been struggling. This is when she was writing in her blog about, depression and staying. A lot of her writings were also about her troubles with staying on track with school.
Right.
That she was finding it hard to focus because of her depression, and a lot of her depression got worse because she felt like she was falling behind her peers as far as they were doing well in school. She was not, and then it just seemed to spiral out of control from there.
It's funny that she dropped out though at 21. I mean, most likely she was what, a year, maybe a semester?
I don't know that she technically dropped out, quote unquote. She just wasn't currently enrolled anymore. I think she still had plans to get re-enrolled. It was just a brief hiatus, and I think this is around the time that she wanted to go on this vacation and kind of learn more about herself. And she thought that maybe getting out, seeing more of the world would help her depression, and then she could get back on track with school afterwards.
Oh, okay. But she just had one more year. It's like you're 21. Lisa,
I know.
If you're getting a 4-year degree, you got one more year.
But I don't know how much of the time that she'd already done in school was wasted by not passing the classes and getting the credits.
That's right.
I'm not sure about that.
Maybe,
so that's also...
That's right. Or maybe she's changed her major every semester, which we know. Everyone knows somebody like that who's been in school for like 12 years and they have a bachelor's degree, or they got like 4 of them.
It's almost like they're afraid to graduate and move on.
Yeah.
Like, what was the movie with... what was his face? Van Wilder or whatever?
Oh, yeah.
Stay in college forever.
Yeah. I got a cousin like that, man. He got like his doctorate. He just kept staying in school and he just kept building on his degrees. But I mean, now he's teaching in like Finland. So I guess it finally does pay off, but it took him a long time.
You gotta find some way to pay off all the debt. I mean, imagine how much student debt you rack up if you stay in school for that long.
Oh my God, dude. Yeah. I don't
just
even
pay
wanna
the
know.
minimum on those loans, I guess, until you die.
Yeah.
Just
yeah, right. Maybe
do it that way.
Yeah, maybe you'll pay them off before you pay your house off. Doubt it.
Right. Yeah. So, as we mentioned, by the start of 2013, she was now 21 and no longer enrolled in any classes. And it was decided that she needed a break. That what she was doing in school was not. It was not even worth it because she wasn't passing the classes and she was struggling. And so, take a break from schooling and figure out yourself, whatever's going on with you. She thought maybe taking a trip, seeing more of the world, and she was going to start with the United States West Coast, and she was hoping that this would get her out of the funk that was affecting her studies.
Mm-hmm.
And so in early 2013, she planned a lengthy vacation tour of the West Coast alone. And this, of course, worried her parents. She was going to be starting in California, and she'd be alone. And so her parents were very weary of her traveling by herself. But the young student was determined to go at it alone, and as a compromise, she made sure to check in with her parents every day of the trip to let them know that she was safe. And she, in fact, was, through this trip early on, she was checking in multiple times a day. She was very diligent about it, which made her parents feel a lot better.
Right.
So the trip would begin in California, as I mentioned. She would first stay in San Diego for a short time before heading to Los Angeles.
Which is-
and that's where this story becomes well known, is in Los Angeles.
You know, it seems weird to me. It's like she's in Canada, right? And then she decided to take a trip of California. Why did she go all the way to the south side of California and then go back? I guess she flew to San Diego and then decided she would drive back up, or this is what's weird to me. It's like, why not start in like San Francisco and work your way down if you're coming from Canada?
Well, it's all the same. One way or another, you're gonna, if you say you start at San Francisco and work your way down, you're gonna have to fly back up to the top. So it's one way or another. There's no.
Yeah, but I mean, I assume she
Be
was
a short side and a long side to that trip, return or on the way.
I guess I just assumed she'd drive, because if she's spending multiple days in places and whatnot, you want to go places where you want to go.
No, she was traveling mainly by like train and like Amtrak and things like that.
Oh,
and,
okay. Okay, that makes more sense. San Diego's a great place to start, though, man. One of my favorite cities in America.
Oh yeah, it's
Bro,
beautiful.
I love San Diego.
Yeah. There's some really cool spots south of LA too. Like some beaches down like Newport. Beach is beautiful.
Well, San Diego.
In LA, Manhattan Beach was my favorite that I went to.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't touch LA, man, when I was out that way. Too many people. It's just too crowded, and I'm like,
Oh, dude, it's a nightmare.
I'm like, dude, if celebrities don't like living here, I sure as hell ain't gonna like living there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? If it's too crowded for them and they got all the money and to get all the land and space they want, then no, that's not gonna be for me.
Yeah. It's one of those vacations that it's more stressful than like your normal life, and you're like, why did I do this to myself?
Yeah,
Dealing with
exactly.
traffic and finding places to park.
I say that all the time. I'm like, guys, some of these vacations just aren't vacations. They're just not worth it.
No.
It's not worth it. All right.
But Elisa, she was having fun in California. She arrives on January 26, 2013 to LA from San Diego. She had made her trip to San Diego and now made her way to LA. She had just come by Amtrak train from San Diego and was headed to Santa Cruz following her stay in LA. So she was going to stay in LA for 3 days, then she would head on to Santa Cruz. And while in LA, she booked a 3-night stay at the Stay on Main, which was formerly the Cecil Hotel in downtown LA. And we will talk much more about the Cecil.
Oh yes.
Because this hotel is world famous, and it's now been officially declared a landmark in LA.
Mm-hmm.
As of, I think, what was it, like 2017, it was declared a landmark.
Yeah, if you're planning, if you're one of those people that like to plan true crime road trips, this would be a great place to stop,
man,
right?
You got to stay at the Cecil for sure.
Gotta
That's
stay at
like
the Cecil.
definitely a hot spot. This place has a very dark history, the Cecil Hotel in downtown LA.
Mm-hmm.
Her stay, and she would add to it, obviously.
Right.
So her stay would be from January 28th to January 31st at the Cecil Hotel, and she had initially booked a shared room, which is just freaks me out to even think about, sharing a room with other people.
Complete strangers,
on your vacation.
right?
It's just, how much cheaper could it have been? I guess probably a lot cheaper. I don't know. Or maybe she's such a social person, she looked at that as an opportunity to meet new people, which is very possible. She was very outgoing.
Right, and she was alone. She's probably wanting to have conversations with people as well.
Yeah, but being alone is all the more reason why I wouldn't want to share a room with somebody. Because it's like, what if they're,
yeah,
weirdo predator? We've done too many episodes of this show.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like
yeah, no doubt.
So when she booked the shared room, she was initially sharing her room with 2 other people at the Cecil. However, soon after she moved into the room, the roommates she moved in with actually complained to the hotel staff about Elisa. They said that she had quote unquote odd behavior, and they kind of basically requested that she be moved to another room, at which point she was then moved to a single person room.
She probably did that for a discount. She was like, I'll just get the group room,
Dude,
and
that
then I'll
would be-
act weird, and then the hotel will have to move me to my own room.
Yeah.
Shit.
I would say that would be a good game plan, but I think, as we know, Elisa, it's probable that she was acting strange when you see how
Yeah.
she later acted on the elevator, and
Right.
find a little bit more out why she was in the state she was in.
That's right.
So, however, when Elisa's parents did not hear from their daughter on January 31st, so remember her stay at the Cecil was going to be from the 28th of January to the 31st, and she was due to check out on the 31st. However, on the 31st, it came and went, and her parents did not hear from her. And as we mentioned, her parents had been hearing from her multiple times a day. That was part of the stipulations of her being able to go on this trip, was like, you go, we don't like this, but we realize you're an adult, but you better check in with us every day. And she had been studiously doing so, except on the 31st, they didn't hear from her. And then they call the hotel, they call the Cecil, and they find out from the Cecil that she did not check out like she was supposed to on the 31st. And at that point, panic sunk in for her parents, and they did not wait long to call LAPD because they knew that something had gone wrong. And that's where we will pick up this story after a quick commercial break.
All right. There's nothing like that Friday feeling. Clocking out of work on Friday evening, knowing you're just going to get to do whatever you want, right? Sit out on the front porch, take it all in, maybe pour you a glass of wine, right? Well, now you don't have to wait for that feeling to kick in once a week, because with award-winning wine from First Leaf, any day can feel like Friday. First Leaf is a wine club that sends personalized selections of wine from top vineyards all around the world directly to you. Because the only thing better than one fantastic bottle of wine is a case of award-winning wine that shows up at your doorstep. Every bottle is hand-picked by experts with your exact preferences and palate in mind for a unique combination of wine that you're guaranteed to love. Unlike other wine clubs, First Leaf uses an algorithm and your feedback to curate future wine recommendations. You log onto their website, you make some selections of wines you like, wines you don't like, taste preferences, foods that you like, things like that. They send you your first box, and from there you rate those wines, you send them back, and your palate just continues to become more and more clear to First Leaf, and they can send you wines that better suit you. Subscriptions are flexible, and shipments arrive on your schedule with practically zero effort. First Leaf is a much more affordable way to enjoy wine from top winemakers and vineyards. You'll always get award-winning wine for an unbeatable low price. Maybe you consider yourself a wine novice. I do. But First Leaf held my hand and walked me through this whole process so I can find wine that I like without going to a grocery store and taking a gamble based on a label. So what are you waiting for? Get that Friday feeling like I do any day with First Leaf. Join today and you'll get 6 bottles of wine for $29.95 and free shipping. Just go to tryfirstleaf.com/creeper. That's 6 bottles of wine for $29.95 and free shipping at tryfirstleaf.com/creeper.
What's up, creepers? I'm excited to tell you about our newest sponsor, Warby Parker. Warby Parker was founded with a rebellious spirit and lofty goal to create boutique-quality eyewear at a revolutionary price point. Offering glasses, sunglasses, contact lenses, and eye exams, Warby Parker is committed to providing exceptional vision care online and in stores, offering eyeglasses, sunglasses, eye exams, and contact lenses. Glasses start at $95, including prescription lenses. Sunglasses, progressives, and blue light lenses are also available. I went onto Warby Parker's website, I took the quiz, and ordered a home try-on kit. 5 pairs of glasses that I selected based off of their quiz showed up to my house for me to try on. I loved all of them. One pair stood out to me and my wife as far as the way that they looked on my face, the way that they fit. I got to walk around and really get a feel for them, and I love them. And it's so easy. The return label is right inside the box. You put the glasses back in, you send the box back, then you go back on the website, you put in your prescription, and have the glasses sent to you. So much better than having to go out in the world during COVID. You can do it all from the comfort of your own home. So try Warby Parker's free home try-on program. Order 5 pairs of glasses to try at home for free for 5 days. There's no obligation to buy. It ships free and includes a prepaid return shipping label. Try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free at warbyparker.com/creeper. That's warbyparker.com/creeper. Also, as an end-of-year holiday treat, you can save 15% when you purchase 2 or more pairs of Warby Parker prescription eyewear. This includes eyeglasses or sunglasses. It's a limited-time offer that ends 12/31/2020. So don't go into 2021 sporting those old glasses. Check out Warby Parker.
This week's episode is also brought to you by BetterHelp. What interferes with your happiness? Is something preventing you from achieving your goals? Personally, I have battles with depression that leave me uninspired or unmotivated to create, which is the one thing I feel like I'm on this earth to do. But luckily, we're not alone. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can connect in a safe and private online environment, and you can start right here in the next 24 hours. It's not self-help, it's professional counseling. You can send a message to your counselor anytime, and you'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, If you desire, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, all without ever having to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change the counselors if you need to or want to. It's more affordable than traditional offline counseling, but financial aid is available for those who need it. BetterHelp is available all over the world. There's a broad range of expertise available which you may not be able to find in your area. BetterHelp only uses licensed professional counselors who specialize in depression, stress, anxiety, relationships, sleeping, trauma, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, grief, self-esteem, and of course, anything you share is always confidential. What are you waiting for? BetterHelp is convenient, professional, affordable. Just check out the testimonials posted on their site every day on BetterHelp.com. BetterHelp is not a crisis line. And so many people have been using BetterHelp that they are recruiting additional counselors in all 50 states. I want you to start living a happier life today. As a True Crime Guys listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/creeper. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/creeper.
She had been staying at the Cecil Hotel. She doesn't check out. She doesn't contact her parents on January 31st. Now the LAPD becomes involved. But before we dive into their investigation in trying to locate Elisa Lamm, we're going to talk about the dark history of the Cecil Hotel to give you a little more background on this hotel and why big part of why this story blew up so much wasn't just the video of Elisa Lamm, which we're going to break down, of her on the elevator the night that she disappeared, but also the fact that people know the dark history of the Cecil Hotel. And if you don't know, you're about to find out. We're going to go all through it.
Yeah.
So the Cecil Hotel on 7th and Main Street in downtown LA, also known as the Hotel Cecil or the Cecil, and now known as the Stay on Main after it was rebranded in 2011. I don't know if that's even a good move, but then again, it still looks like the Cecil. They didn't really change much other than just the entryway. They put like a new little, what do you call those things? The little cover that goes over the front door of things, like a little shade.
Yeah, like a new little awning.
Awning, yeah. They put like a new awning that's a different color and it says to Stay on Main, but the whole building still has the giant font on the side of it that says the Cecil. And to me, it's like just embrace the dark history and the fact that this thing has been a part of LA since the 1920s. And,
right.
Like people are going to want to stay there just because of its history. And you can't run
now,
from it.
Yeah. Now I do think, I think people do want to stay there because of the history, but I'm pretty sure it was bad for business, calling it the Cecil for a
Also,
while,
the fact that they're on Skid Row is also bad for business.
Yeah, that's bad for business.
Yeah. So, built in 1927, it was built as a hotel for businessmen to come in town and spend a night or two. However, shortly after it opened, the Great Depression happened and caused the surrounding area to decline into what we now know as Skid Row. It is on the outer edge of Skid Row, but still nonetheless right down there in that mix. The Cecil became known as a budget hotel that attracted displaced people, including some involved in sex work and drugs. Eventually, it transitioned into a single-room occupancy business known as an SRO. Long-term tenants rented individual rooms and shared bathrooms with neighboring residents. The Cecil was a place where people who were really down on their luck were going to live. And we see in the 80s, Richard Ramirez was one of those such people, quote-unquote, down on their luck. But I think he just liked the seediness of it, and it was a place where a serial killer could hide out in plain sight. And
that's right.
And be among other people down on their luck, quote-unquote.
That's exactly what I'm saying. There's so much activity going on at that hotel. It's just you blend right in. No one's. I mean, I think it wasn't it even said that Richard Ramirez would like dump his bloody clothes in the dumpster at the Cecil?
Yep.
Like he didn't even give a shit. Like he just dump it off in the dumpster on my way out today. Or
he lived there for a while, and I think he did a lot of his killings while living at the Cecil Hotel because it was also right in downtown LA, so it was another kind of area where you could hide out as a serial killer. It'd be hard to find. It's hard to locate somebody because, like we said, there's so many, people who are, living on the edges of society down there who are not well kept. Who, if the police are looking for you, it's a good place to go hide out if you're in the underworld.
Right. There's a lot of nefarious things going on down there. It's very confusing, probably, for police officers.
Yeah.
Trying to work in that area.
Yeah. And so, yeah, as we mentioned, there's a lot of people who were staying at the Cecil who were down on their luck. And in the 80s and 90s, two such tenants of the Cecil were serial killers Richard Ramirez and Jack Unterweger, which we've never done him. He's an Australian serial killer, but he was a journalist initially, I guess, and he stayed at the Cecil in homage apparently to Richard Ramirez, and he was killing while living there.
I think he said Austrian. Not
Is he
Australian.
Austrian? Oh, I thought it.
Yeah, he's an Austrian.
Oh, yeah, Austrian.
serial
Okay,
killer.
sorry.
Yeah, because there's a movie about him called Jack. I actually looked it up when I saw his name. I was like, I'm not very familiar with this guy. Like, I'd heard the name in passing, but I was like, that's a weird name. But when you think about it, Schwarzenegger and then Unterweger, you're like, oh yeah, Austrian.
Oh,
that
yeah.
makes sense.
Okay, they can see that now.
You know? Yeah.
Unterweger.
Exactly.
In 1985, Ramirez was living on the Cecil's top floor in a $14 a night room. The Cecil, then filled with hundreds of transients living in cheap rooms, was a good place for Ramirez to go unnoticed as he killed 13 women. He was, quote, just dumping the bloody clothes in the dumpster at the end of his evening and going into the back entrance of the Cecil.
There you go.
My God.
Just another day's work. Another day's work.
Jack Unterweger worked as a journalist covering Los Angeles crime for an Austrian magazine in 1991 when he moved into the Cecil.
How ironic.
And a tour guide of downtown LA and these landmarks said that, quote, we believe he was living at the Cecil in homage to Ramirez. Richard Shave, the tour guide, said. So,
or maybe he just thought it was a good idea as well to hide in plain sight. I mean, it just seems like, and it's one of the cheapest hotels as well. And if you're going to be doing reporting on crime, wouldn't you want to be near it?
right.
I mean, that's kind of the point.
Get a feel for it.
Right. Get a feel for it. I mean, and he's committing it as well.
Yeah, he's got to get a kill. He's got to get a feeling for the whole experience. I mean, including killing people as well.
Right. Who better than? No,
I'm sure at some point we'll do Jack Unterweger because I like you. I was unaware of this guy.
I know. I hope that the Austrian movie that was made about him has a lot of rewards. Has a lot of awards. It seems to be pretty well received over there. I don't know if it's
in
dubbed
American English
or what.
or would we have to watch it in subtitles?
I have no idea. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if there's any dub versions or if it's subtitles or what. But we'll have to check that out.
Yeah. So Unterweger is blamed with killing 3 sex workers in Los Angeles while being a guest at the Cecil. Throughout the hotel's existence, there have been multiple deaths from unnatural causes, whether accidents, murders, or suicides. And we have a timeline from the Cecil's inception of some of these different crimes to give you a feel for its dark past.
Better strap in.
Yeah. So Helen Gurney, a woman in her 50s, leaped from a 7th floor window, landing on the Cecil Hotel marquee on October 22nd, 1954.
God. You imagine
a lot of
that
women
scene,
jumped
dude.
from this building in the 50s and into the 60s and 70s. It's bizarre. It became like a suicide hotspot in a weird way.
Yeah.
Julia Moore jumped from her 8th floor room window on February 11th, 1962. She left behind a bus ticket from St. Louis, 59 cents, and an Illinois bank account showing a balance of $1,800, which in 1962 was like, yeah, it wasn't a matter of she had nothing left. You know, like you could start something with $1,800 in 1962. You could.
Hell yeah. Unless that was an old bank account book. I mean, it was just a book. It's not like it was an actual statement from her bank.
That's true. That was back in the days where people actually balanced a checkbook and whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit, I mean,
right?
that was
just
actually,
go online
that went
look.
on up until, I would say, like the late 90s. I remember my mom always balancing a checkbook.
Oh, yeah. I remember my mom trying to teach me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
you need to learn how
and
to
we're
balance
like,
your
yeah,
checkbook.
there'll be
You
something
need to-
better
I'm
someday.
like,
We don't got to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have a
forget
phone
that.
in our pocket that does that for us, Mom.
Yeah. Right. You just sign onto your bank account app now. It's just like, boom. Okay.
Your
yeah,
phone
there's all
will
my
just, you
transactions.
tilt your phone up, it looks at your face, it logs into your bank account, shows you your balance, you're good.
Exactly. Exactly.
So Pauline Otten, who was 27 years old, jumped from a 9th floor window after an argument with her estranged husband on October 12th, 1962. She landed on, oh man, this part. Holy
This
fuck.
is so sad.
So Pauline Otten jumped out of the 9th floor and ended up landing on a 65-year-old man named George Gianni, who was walking on the sidewalk 90 feet below. Both were killed instantly.
That's,
Oh my, can you imagine witnessing that, first of all? Like, imagine you work there and like you have to deal with
just
that.
2 people died today.
Holy
instantly.
shit, man. This guy's just minding his business, walking down the street, and a woman from 90 feet up lands on him. Jesus.
I just feel like that's really irresponsible of someone committing suicide.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I have to say that. Like if you're gonna take your own life, I mean, it's
At least
selfish
wait for the
enough to
traffic
take
to
your own
clear
life,
below, you know?
but seriously, you gotta jump
Like
on
these people
somebody?
that decide to kill themselves by like driving intentionally head on into someone, it's just like despicable.
Oh, that's some bullshit, man. That's
Despicable.
bullshit.
Yeah, and that's happened a lot of times. Sadly, a lot of that is all too common that
Yeah.
occurs.
Yes, it is.
So someone named Pigeon Goldie Osgood, that was their nickname, Pigeon Goldie, a retired telephone operator, was found dead in her ransacked room on June 4th, 1964. Osgood, known for protecting and feeding the pigeons at nearby Pershing Square, was stabbed, strangled, and raped. The crime has never been solved. So that's just the 50s and 60s we've covered so far, and there's already been that many suicides and a murder.
That looks like I would think that she was just a victim of circumstance. Someone saw her and wanted to commit an act of violence and knew that no one was going to care about this pigeon lady. And it sounds bad, but I really do think that's why this crime has never been solved. It's just lack of care, honestly. Effort,
and also you're talking 64, so the means to solve a crime was already difficult, and if they don't have a lot of motivation to solve it either because they view this person as like kind of a who cares, then that's when you get an unsolved crime for that long.
Right.
Then in 1975, a still unidentified woman jumped to her death from the 12th floor. New owners would convert 3 of the floors back to hotel rooms around 2007, but most of the building remains SRO. And as we mentioned, it's located on the edge of Skid Row. There have been multiple sightings of ghosts at the hotel, and the building is a focus for true crime themed bus tour, hotel horrors, and Main Street Vice. I didn't know there was this tour that you could do. That sounds like something if we make a trip there, we'd have to do.
Yeah, that makes sense, though. There's always people capitalizing on this stuff, man.
Yeah.
You know, if there's this much shit happened here, oh, yeah, somebody's finding out a way to make money on this.
Yeah. So according to the LA Times, calls to the LAPD from the hotel have dropped dramatically since 2008, and on February 28, 2017, the city council designated the 1920s building as a Los Angeles landmark. So it's slowed down a bit, nowhere. But this case brought it back to the fold again because you get this very odd death of young Elisa Lamm, and so let's get into what happened with Elisa Lamm. Back to early February 2013, the police have been made aware that Elisa Lamm was staying at the Cecil Hotel. She did not check out, and she has not been seen. Her parents have not been contacted by her. They now fly out. Her family flies out to LA to help the police with the investigation. And with the help of dogs, they scour the Cecil Hotel looking for Elisa Lamm. They search her room. They search all over the hotel, including the roof, and they find no sign of her. The last person that had reported talking to Elisa on the day that she disappeared on January 31st was the manager of a bookstore next door to the hotel. The manager has been interviewed since, and she said that Elisa was in good spirits and very talkative. Very much how we know Elisa as a person, was very outgoing, and she was basically talking this bookstore manager's ear off. Talking about the different books she wanted to get for her family members. She was there with the purpose of buying books for her family to bring back with her, as kind of, souvenirs.
Right.
And she was talking to the bookstore manager and she was concerned that the weight of the books was going to be cumbersome for her upcoming travels, which would lead you to believe that she had no plans of, ending her own life at all. If she was at the bookstore that very day and, buying books for her family and talking to the manager about her concern about the weight of the books for, her future travels, that doesn't sound to me like someone who's about to commit suicide.
No, it does not. No, it doesn't. But maybe she was just trying to be kind because she was planning suicide and didn't want to buy that many books.
Maybe. In the week following her disappearance, police released flyers and did a TV press conference with her parents in the background. Then on February 14th, Valentine's Day, over 2 weeks after her disappearance, the security camera footage that made this case infamous from the hotel's elevator was released, which made it just blow up, obviously, because this video, as we mentioned, it freaks a lot of people out for good reason when you watch it.
It's one of those eerie videos, man. And even if this didn't happen, if this video just surfaced and we had no idea who Elisa Lamm was, this video is still creepy. But knowing the outcome, it's just another one of those just creepy, eerie video photos from crimes, right before crimes happened. And it just has this, it really does look like she's being chased by something or in fear of something.
Yeah, so the video, I believe it was midnight, right? Around midnight, and it shows the upper corner of the elevator, a typical elevator camera, shows the door open, it shows Elisa enter. She bends down for the list of buttons there for the floors, and like a child, in a sense, hits all of the buttons, like basically from top to bottom, kind of slides down. And you can see at least 5 of them lit up in the video. But it's a very grainy, I mean, it's a security camera video from 2013 at a hotel, at a seedy hotel. So it's pretty grainy, but you can definitely see that the multiple floors are lit up. And early on, after she pushes the buttons, you see the door attempt to close. You see, right after she pushes the buttons, and she goes from bending down in front of them to standing up. At about like 12 seconds into the video, you see the door attempt to close to the elevator, and then it goes back. And then,
you know what? I think if she hit the help button on those elevator buttons, bro, that door won't close. And I think that's what she did.
Ooh, that is interesting.
Yeah,
I wondered. I'm like, she had to have hit a button, right, that kind of froze the elevator up.
Yes, and if you hit a call button or a help button, that elevator will not close. And if, like, let's say the elevator is moving and then you hit it while the doors are closed and it's moving, it's going to come to the very next stop, open the doors, and stay open.
Wouldn't, if she had hit the help button, wouldn't the staff have had to come out and have said something like, yeah, we did get a call from the elevator, someone called for help? No one's ever said anything as far as I've heard from the hotel staff as far as like, yeah, we had spoke to her. But that would explain if she did hit the help button and someone was trying to talk to her through a speaker on the elevator. I don't know. Is that how that works? If you hit help, is it kind of like an intercom type of thing? Or does someone have to physically come and help you? Because it would explain why it looks like she's talking to someone when there's no one there.
I think someone would physically come. It's been my experience. Someone did this in a hospital one time. It's the only reason I know this. And this happened. A kid hit a help button on accident, and we were in the elevator with him, and the elevator just stopped. The door wouldn't close, nothing. And this person came with a key, and they had to reset it. And they came and checked on everybody. They're like, "Is everybody okay? You might need help." And they're like, "No, we're good." And so they just put their key in the little lock thing and turned it, and then the elevator was ready to go again. But someone did have to physically come to the elevator.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining that would be the same thing here, but. I mean, she wasn't in the elevator very long, 2 or 3 minutes, and she's dipped. She's done gone. So, I mean, who's to say someone didn't show up?
Yeah, but also what's odd is, so like she goes back and forth. She's in and out. She's peeking around the corner. There's very odd behavior on her part. She's acting as though something is freaking her out, following her. It even appears at times as though she's talking to someone out of frame.
Yes.
It's believed that there was no one there now. But who knows? Who really knows? Because there were no other cameras to speak of.
You know what really weirds me out too? There's one part of the video where she gets like up in the corner near where the buttons are, and she like tries to squeeze her body into that corner. So let's say if you walked by the elevator, you wouldn't even see her.
Yeah.
That's what really weirded me out. It's like she looked out the door and then she ran back inside.
She's standing in the corner like appearing to try and hide from someone who, if they were walking by, they wouldn't see her.
Exactly. You would have to come all the way in the elevator to see her over in the corner.
Yeah. Whether there is cause or reason for her to be freaked out or not, there's no denying that she's legitimately freaked out. Like, you can't. Yes. That's one thing that is undeniable. She is freaked out whether it's justified or not. In her own head, something is freaking her out, or something legitimately, in reality, is giving her cause to be freaked out. But what you're saying about the help thing, the one thing I'll say about that is that basically when she does wander off after a couple minutes of her strange behavior, she wanders off and the door closes to the elevator, and then it continues on its path. It goes to floor, like she had pushed the buttons.
That's a good point.
It's very odd. The behavior of this elevator is odd.
Maybe she just kept hitting the door open button, and she hit it so many times that it just stayed open for a long period of time. I don't know.
That's something. Maybe she hit the floor buttons, but then she also hit the floor or the door open button. And then she kept walking through in and out, which would prevent it from closing.
That's right. And then she kept sticking her head out, which would also reset the sensor.
There's also a lot of talk that this video has been edited. A lot of people say because it took the hotel, a week or two? How long did we say it took for them to release this video after her disappearance? it took them more than a day. It wasn't like
Yeah.
they released this right away. It took at least a week. And also people have said that the coding at the bottom left corner of the video, which would be the timestamp and whatnot,
Right.
is like scrambled. That people have said that you can, if you follow the tracking of those numbers, that they jump around, and there's at least a minute missing of this.
Oh.
And so people think that this video was tampered with. You know, there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there who believe that this was tampered with.
Right. Possibly.
Yeah, so that's
Possibly,
as much as we can break it down. You have to watch it for yourself and get freaked out by it. But we're going to continue on with the story. So yeah, that video emerges, and that's all they have to go on. You know, and the case goes cold for a minute there because they're just like, okay, this video doesn't help us really. I mean, it shows that she was freaked out, that something was going on, but it doesn't give us anywhere to go from here because we haven't found her.
Right.
So the last minutes of the video show her standing by the left side of the door, moving her hands and gestures. She peers out, and then she walks off, and the elevator continues on its path. The public was captivated by the footage, and speculation was rampant. Was she being stalked? Was there a paranormal event? Or was she suffering from a mental breakdown? Unfortunately, the footage didn't give any definitive answers. The family and the law enforcement would have to wait for a break in the case to come. And thankfully, 5 days later, a break would finally come. However, it wasn't in the form that they had hoped. On February 19th, a body was discovered in one of the 4 water tanks on the roof of the Cecil Hotel. So there was these 4 large water tanks that provided the water to the hotel staff, to the guests, to the restaurant that was within the place. And the reason this was discovered, this body within this tank, was because the guests at the hotel had been complaining to the staff that there was some issues with the water. The pressure was low,
Right.
and that the water had what would you say? It was not clear. It was murky
God.
water, essentially, was coming
How many
out.
people drank that water, dude?
I know. How many people showered in it, drank from it, washed their hands, yada, yada. You have to wonder. And what's sickening is that the hotel, even after finding out that there was a body in the tank, and that was the reason for the water issues, did not refund the guests. They basically said, hey, drink it at your own risk, essentially.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They had
Oh
it
my
tested
God.
to make sure that there were no harmful bacteria in it that could have hurt anyone. Supposedly they did that, and then they put some extra chlorine in the water to kill the bacteria that was remaining, and that was that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. More chlorine
Yeah.
to eat my insides away and kill all the good bacteria inside my gut as well. Thank you very much.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, at this point, you're not drinking that fucking water, and at this point, I'm checking out. You know.
Oh yeah, I'm dipping out anyways.
Yeah.
But some people live there though, man.
That's
you
true.
know?
That is a good point. Yeah, a lot of people live there. The SRO thing that was going on. Yeah, there was a
Yeah,
long-term
there's plenty
renters
of
in there.
residents. That's right.
So the body, as I'm sure you've figured out by now, that was discovered in the water tank was determined to be Elisa Lamm's body. And the coroner released his report on February 21st and found that there was no evidence of trauma or sexual assault, and the death was ruled an accidental drowning. But how the hell did Elisa Lamm, on her own accord, end up in a giant water tank on the roof of a hotel? And
I think she was hiding in there, dude.
people were convinced that she was killed and put in there, and for good reason. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense that a person would end up in a water tank. And initially it was reported that the door going to the roof was locked, that it had an alarm on it, that the water tank, there was no fixed ladder to the water tanks, and they were pretty. I mean, it was not something you could just climb on. You needed a ladder to get up there. They were at least like 10 feet high, and Elisa was a small girl. And so how did she get up there? And the tanks had lids on them the lids were closed, supposedly.
Yeah.
How does she end up in this water tank? None of it made any sense. And then, like you think about all the other factors, like why her acting strange in the video footage, and where's the other? You would think there would be more cameras. A lot of people have said this in comment sections of stuff that I've looked at.
Yeah, there's
where's
no cameras on the roof
in this hotel. How is it just? She was wandering seemingly all over the place. Yeah, how is there not a camera on the roof, in any of the hallways?
Stairwells? Like, there's no camera in the stairwells?
With as much crime and as stuff as happened in this hotel, you would think you would want cameras everywhere. That's what I'm thinking.
Seriously. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they're like, well, we don't want the cops here
We don't
all
want
the
liability.
time. Yeah, they're like, oh shit, we don't want to film everything. There's just a lot that goes on here. We're not
The
being
Cecil
that naive.
Hotel. Whatever happens, happens.
That's right.
What happens here stays here,
That's right.
like Vegas.
Ultimate privacy.
Yeah. So the coroner also released the fact that there were no drugs found in Elisa's system, which in her case was a bad thing because Elisa was on a list of prescribed drugs for her mental illness. She was on several drugs that helped her with her bipolar disorder and her depression, and she had apparently not been taking those drugs, which is a big reason why this case has been closed and it's assumed not unsolved. It's assumed at this point that she had a mental breakdown. The footage from the security camera in the elevator would help you come to that conclusion, and the fact that she was not. I mean, if you stop taking all of these psychotic drugs, antipsychotic drugs, just cold turkey, it can have some severe consequences.
But why? Why would she do that? Why would she stop taking them cold turkey like that? Just maybe that's why she wanted to get out by herself, to see if she could handle it, to see if she really needed all of these drugs that everyone was telling her she needed. But she's writing about her mental illnesses in her blogs and stuff. So obviously she's aware and recognizing them and understanding that she needs the help that she's getting. So it just doesn't make much sense for her to not. Maybe she lost them or they were stolen.
Have you ever? This is a question I have for you. Have you ever? So let's say you have an injury and it's painful, or you have a really bad headache, and you take pain medication or you take ibuprofen or whatever, and I've had nagging pains here and there, and you take ibuprofen, and it does such a good job that you forget you even have the injury, or you start to think like, oh, it's healed, I'm fine, and then you don't take the pain medication again. Let's say you just got injured and you're only supposed to take this for a few days or whatever. You take it one time, like, oh, I'm fine now, and then you don't take it, and then the pain sets in again. Yeah, it's possible there's an element of that with this type of thing, where it's a medication that's helping your mental state, and it works so well that you feel happy, you feel good, and you're like, maybe I just don't need this anymore. That's part of the trap that can occur. She might have been feeling so good. She's like, oh, I'm out traveling, and maybe this has fixed me. I just needed to get out and do something, and I don't need these anymore. That's possible that was what happened.
Yeah, it is. Or maybe she's just out in a different schedule, and she's, like we said earlier, she's traveling by train, by tram, probably public transportation, and maybe she was out somewhere where she had left her meds at home, and she was past the time where she needed to re-up. To take another pill. Maybe she's supposed to take, like for instance, if she's supposed to take a pill every 8 hours and somehow she gets stranded out somewhere and misses a bus or something and ends up being out for 12 hours, you know what I'm saying? Like how is this going to react? Yeah. Now she is trying to get home frantically to get her medication, but it's too late.
Could have
She's
lost
already
him.
having a meltdown.
She also could have lost him because it's known that she lost her phone shortly before her disappearance, and she'd even posted on either Tumblr. I think she had posted on Tumblr or Instagram or something that she had lost her phone. In a blog, she had made a little post saying that she had lost her phone. So I don't know where she posted that from, if it was from an internet cafe or the computer at the hotel or where she had posted that from. But it was known that she had lost her phone. And so if she lost her phone, it's possible she lost her meds too.
Oh, for sure. Listen, I'm totally spitballing here, but what if some of the people she was in the room with first maybe took her meds, took her medication, took her.
This is a sketchy hotel. It's very possible.
I mean, that is not even rare. People take meds from people's homes all the time. You have to be careful who you have in your home. I mean, I've worked with contractors where later I found out they were taking meds from people's homes. They'd be like, oh, can I use your restroom? Go in there and raid in the damn cabinet. People that I knew for years.
There's a lot of addicts that's the first thing they do when they go into someone they don't know that well's house. They go into their medicine cabinet and see what they can find. No doubt about it.
That's what I'm saying. And people, and if they were sharing bathrooms, maybe Elisa left her bag in the bathroom or on the counter in the sink or whatever, and somebody took her shit. And she thought she lost them.
Very possible. Or someone could have broken into her room when she was gone and taken shit. This, like we said, this is a sketchy hotel.
Yeah. No doubt.
So, yeah, the police. Many questions remained after finding her body. The roof. How was it that she got onto the roof and got into that tank? If in fact the door, like the hotel said, was locked going to the roof. How did she get on top of the tank and in if there was no fixed ladder to the tank? And the tank supposedly had heavy lids. All of the tanks, including the one that Elisa was found in, had the lid on. So how did she get in there? How'd she close the lid? How does this happen? The police had searched the roof in the days following her disappearance as well and found nothing out of the ordinary. Why were there no cameras other than the one in the elevator? So a lot of people were looking at the hotel staff like a little sideways, like, how does this happen? Either you guys are, directly involved in killing Elisa Lamm, or you guys are so negligent in running a hotel and allowing something like this to go on. And there was actually a lawsuit by Elisa Lamm's family later on, a wrongful death suit in regards to Elisa. They didn't win, though. Basically, the hotel said, you know what, it's not our fault. We can't protect people from wanting to harm themselves, is what they said. And you see through their past that how many people have jumped out of their building and they didn't change anything. So you'd think they would put some bars on the windows or prevent people from being able to jump out of the damn thing at a certain point. I would. For the mental state of my workers at my hotel, I wouldn't want them witnessing people dying all the time, jumping out of the window of the hotel I'd owned. I'd put some preventative measures in the window so that people couldn't jump out anymore. That would just be me. I don't know.
But then now your hotel looks like a giant prison. It's like,
True.
Who wants to stay at a hotel with bars on all the windows?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
So photos on Elisa's Instagram leading up to her death. Here's another clue that may lead you to believe that she did go up on the roof on her own accord. Many photos on her Instagram leading up to her death showed her on rooftops. She would post these pictures of her. She apparently liked to go up to rooftops, and I've done this myself. I think it's
Who doesn't?
a human instinct. Yeah, when you're at a hotel, dude, I can't preach enough to people that work or own hotels to keep shit locked, because I've done this so many times where I just wandered around hotels into like, let's see where I can go. Like on the Strip in Vegas, I've made it on top of buildings and things like that just by simply walking around and seeing where I've gone into private pools that I shouldn't be in, and then you just plead ignorance. Like I've had security come over, like, what are you doing here? Like, oh, I didn't know I couldn't. You have a guest here. You show them your card and they're like, all right, get out of here. You're not allowed to be in here. It's like, no, that was worth it. I got to swim in this private pool for a while. But like, keep your shit sufficiently locked up, especially the roof. Like, make sure
Especially
people
the roof.
And so apparently the door to the roof very well could have been locked, and yet someone still could get up there, because this also gave a lot more clarity as to how Elisa, if she was so inclined, could have actually done this. And it's now known that she could have done this because someone following this story had gone and stayed at the Cecil Hotel with the intent of seeing if they could pull off what Elisa Lamm seemingly pulled off if they wanted to. And they were able to go up a fire escape, get to the roof unabated, and then once on the roof, the water tanks, they sat next to another structure, which was like a maintenance building, I'm guessing. And you could access a ladder to get on top of this other building on top of the roof. And from there, you could easily drop down onto the tanks. And when this person did this, they got on top of the building next to the tanks. And when they got over to the tanks, 2 hatches of the 4 tanks were open. And so this person easily, within 5 minutes, could have done what Elisa Lamm did if they were so inclined. They could have gotten into this tank. And this is following Elisa Lamb's death, following the media shitstorm that this hotel had to deal with, following
and they're still letting people get up there.
Suit, everything. Someone could still go do this afterwards. So
They just, I don't. The
the
hotel's
video's on
probably
YouTube.
looking at it
If
like,
you look hard enough, you can find it. This guy going and basically getting access to the tanks himself, following Elisa Lamb's death.
that is absolutely insane, dude. Maybe she was trying to hide from somebody. You know, if she was
That
still
is a
trying
good
to hide,
point. If
she
she was
made it to
legitimately
the
scared
roof.
that someone was chasing her,
Yeah.
a water tank. If you're having mental breakdown, if you're really afraid that someone's chasing you, whether they are or not, a water tank could be a reasonable place to hide. But it's possible, very possible, she didn't mean to die, and she got in there and realized quickly that there was no getting out.
Right.
Of that
Maybe
tank
the water
once
level
inside.
was too low, or maybe the person that was chasing her saw her get in there and they just shut the lid on her.
Yes, that's also
And they were like,
possible.
wow.
Because
there you
that
go.
is one of the
That took
biggest
care of
questions that
itself.
remain is, how did that lid get closed?
How
you
did
could
the
you could
lid-
seemingly close it as you were dropping in. It's like a hatch
Oh.
lid, like with hinges.
Oh, well.
And so, yeah, I've
But
come
is
around
there-
to the idea that I think, unfortunately, Elisa Lamm didn't take her meds for one reason or another, whether it was on her own accord or whether they were stolen, and she she lost reality for a bit, and did in fact go up on the roof because she liked to go on roofs. And I think she was very possible that she was afraid that something was chasing her and got in that tank to hide or something along those lines and drowned in there.
Yeah. Whether it was real or not, it seemed to be very real to her.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all that matters.
Yeah,
How you react.
It's very sad, and her family has actually even come out and said that they believe that she got in the tank, and that they did sue, as I said, the Cecil Hotel, which the case they did not receive any payout for that because basically the Cecil just said, hey, we can't prevent people from doing what they're going to do if they want to harm themselves, which I think is kind of a cop out. Like, prevent people from getting on your roof unless they're staff. Make sure that...
Yeah, you can prevent people from getting near the water that is supplied to all of the customers of the hotel. It's like your water source, if anything, needs to be protected. Why can you not even protect the water source?
That should have been another lawsuit they had to deal with, is the guests
somebody,
there.
Yeah, that guy that filmed himself going up there, or Elisa, or anybody, could go up there and pour rat poison in one of those tanks.
No doubt, right?
Just fucking nobody
Or a
would
damn
even
bird
know.
could fly over if that hatch is open and shit in there.
Yeah.
Get people sick. Freaking mice or anything could crawl in there and die and freaking rot away and get
Exactly.
into the water. It's amazing.
Dude, that's happened.
Right?
In the history of this hotel, something has gotten in those tanks wanting to get water. Some thirsty-ass bird in the desert of L.A., something. It just don't make sense to have those tanks so accessible, and let alone open.
Right.
Let alone open.
Ridiculous. Get your shit together, Cecil Hotel. Come on.
Seriously.
Or the Stay on
Get your
Main.
shit together.
That's what you call yourselves now.
The Stay on Main. You can change your name all you want.
Right.
Yeah. Change it. But I guess that hotel ain't going nowhere, right? You said it was officially a landmark
Oh,
now,
yeah.
right?
No, it's not going anywhere.
So it's not going anywhere. So they need to take some precautions, man. They need to do some updating on that thing
Right.
or something.
All right.
All right.
I got it out of my system. I always wanted to know what happened in this shit. And I feel good about, what I know now about it. I think it's a tragedy. I think, if you're on meds and you feel like you're good enough to go off of them, definitely talk to medical or talk to a professional first before you just go off of them. And I'm not blaming Elisa and saying that's exactly what happened, is that she decided that. It's very probable, very possible that they were stolen, like you said. But this is just an example of, if you are on medication, to be careful about going off of them.
That's right. At least, and if you're going to try something new with your medication or not taking it, definitely need to be around people that care about you, people that you trust, at least.
That care about your safety.
If not a medical professional, someone who cares about your safety and
yeah,
and
you
your
know
health
what?
and
It
is
is
gonna
kind of a
look out for
perfect
you.
storm, is that she was away from everyone that she knew and loved.
Exactly.
And they weren't able to protect her when she went through this mental state. If she were at home and didn't take her meds and started acting odd like this, her family would have helped her. They would have taken her to the hospital and had given her treatment. But because she was alone, that was what her family feared in the first place, was that something like this could happen
If she just had one friend, man, just one person there.
with her.
Yeah. One person.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Well-
should we talk some Oh My Gaia?
I think we should. Oh My Gaia is an innovative, all-natural deodorant, fragrance, and beard oil company specializing in paraben and aluminum-free products. Their innovative line of deodorants inhibit the growth of odor-causing bacteria while maintaining effectiveness. At Oh My Gaia, they use only all-natural, paraben, and aluminum-free organic ingredients. Guys, there's tons of scents to choose from Oh My Gaia, and the rotations are always updating. Guys, there's pear, vanilla, cherry almond, sandalwood, lavender, lemongrass, Egyptian musk is one of my favorites. Coconut, dreamsicle, leather, lumberjack, honeysuckle, fireside. Bergamot amber, I've noticed, is also a favorite from a lot of our listeners. And we have our very own scent called True Crime Pine. Guys, it was made just for the True Crime guys. If you're a big True Crime guys listener, you got to have at least one jar of True Crime Pine sitting around. Because you guys are True Crime guys listeners, use the word creeper, and you can get 15% off your order at ohmygaia.com or at shop_ohmygaia on Instagram. Ohmygaia.com is OHMYGAIA.com. And again, use the word creeper, and you guys can get 15% off. So do it, guys. You won't regret it. switch from your speed stick. And I know you've tried. This is what I hear the most, right? I hear people are like, "Oh, I've tried aluminum-free deodorants before. They suck. They don't smell good, or they don't cover up my sweat smell." Well, this will. Oh my God, it will. I promise you. Like I've done construction. I've been working out in the damn humid ass Carolina heat out here. It's been like 95 degrees, 100% humidity, and I'm wearing Oh My Gaia, and ain't nobody complaining about my scents. Okay? So I promise, if it can cover it up for me, it can sure as hell cover it up for y'all.
You just got to trust us, and it's give it a shot. Give it a try.
That's right.
It's not expensive,
It's good
especially
stuff.
with our code. It's not expensive.
That's right.
You got nothing to lose.
All right.
But
Nothing to
wait,
lose
there's
except
more.
What is it?
I don't know.
They also have incense.
You don't need any more. Oh my God, is everything.
You don't need any more. What are you, greedy bastards? What do you want? Great. It smells good. Yeah. You don't want it. You don't want it. It's your loss. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. There is more. But wait, there's more. True Crime Guys Patreon page. Patreon.com/True Crime Guys. Go over there. Get yourself $2 a month. Get you access to all kinds of premium content.
Yeah. And at $5 a month, get you access to Just the Banter, which we just released volume 12 yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Just the Banter.
Talked a lot about dogs, and it got dark.
A lot.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to
How the hell
happen.
did we talk 40 minutes about dogs?
I mean,
some
I feel like I could do a whole
crazy stories,
podcast about dogs legitimately. So
I do love dogs.
Yeah.
I do love dogs. And I like some things about cats, but not much.
dude, my cat that I have now is so awesome though. We got a new cat like a month and a half ago ish, and this cat is like it's like we can't imagine life without him already. It's like he right away he was just like he knew our family, he knew the wrongs and the rights, and he like plays. My kids play with him so much more than they play with our dogs. We have a puppy, and our kids just want to play with this damn cat all day. And the cat plays with the puppy, and the cat he's just amazing. He's an awesome freaking cat. He's got so much personality. And so I'm back on board with cats again. Cat people, I'm with you again. I know we shit on cats a lot in the past, but if you find the right cat for you, there's nothing like it.
That's true. That's true. I have to have a balance of cats. Like I like to let my cats go in and out. I like them to be inside sometimes, but I can't have cats inside all the time. Because what happens with at least my cats, they get entitled as shit when they come inside for long periods of time. And they're like, it's like when they first come in, they're nice. They're laying in the floor or they're sitting on your lap or, you see them laying in a cat bed. And then the next day they're like on the counter. Yeah. They're like on top of the fridge. I'm like, nope, fuck y'all.
You got to keep a squirt bottle nearby. I know that people poo-poo with that. Like, don't squirt your cat. No. If my cat's up on the damn kitchen counter, that's one thing I like about this cat too. He gets over it immediately. It's like, he doesn't like it. Yeah. He runs away, but then he's just like, whatever. He'll come right back to you. He don't care.
Yeah. That's right. Cats don't let stuff phase them.
No.
That's part of their whole demeanor.
There's no long-lasting trauma from being squirted once, like it's...
No. Dude, I don't feel like cats have any long-lasting trauma from anything.
No.
Like my cat came home one day, his damn jaw was sideways and he was like drooling from it. I was like, what in the world happened to you? We're like holding him. We're like, should we take him to the vet and stuff? We sent pictures to some of our vet friends and stuff. And they're like, his jaw got hit. I was like, they're not going to do anything. He said, is he in pain? He's like, no, he's not in pain. But now he looks like a derpy ass cat, but you can't tell it to him, dude. He's still got all the personality he had before. He's still running around.
We all hope to be, 1/10 of the cat's contentment. Cats are just like, what the fuck ever. Dude, nothing bothers me, bitch.
No, that cat still has all the self-esteem and confidence he had before. He killed a squirrel the other day. Yeah. Killed a squirrel right in my front yard. Like, that cat don't care.
You want to talk about entitlement? Just look at the way a cat moves. The way that they walk around is the most entitled, my shit, dude, does not stink walk. Just the way cats move, it's just so apparent that they're just cocky
Tail up in the air.
Just content, and they don't give a shit about what you think of them at all.
They really don't, man. They really don't. And it's like whatever happens in life, they just roll with it.
Yep.
Yeah. Cats don't care.
And that being said, check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/truecrimeguys. As we mentioned, all that stuff, $2 a month, get you access to all the one episode a month that we do just for patrons, get you access to that. It gets you into the giveaway, and then $5 a month, you get the gold Creep Van sticker. You get access to Just the Banter, and our other show where we just shoot the shit like we're doing now about cats. We did that about dogs the other night. You can hear that.
Yep.
If you're a $5 a month patron. Yeah, we put up an episode every week of Just the Banter. If you're a $5 patron, you get access to that. And then $10, you can talk to us. We set up a Zoom call with you. So there's all kinds of perks and cool stuff, but really $2 a month is all you need to get access to a bunch of cool stuff over there. And you can pay.
That's right.
If you don't like doing the monthly subscription thing and having stuff hit your card every month, you can pay in advance. $21 for a full year gets you access.
Yeah, that's cheap. $21 for the whole year, and then you're done. And it's like, I mean, obviously that's a $2 level, guys. I think the $5 level is $54 a year. So you get like a 10% discount for signing up for the yearly subscription instead of the monthly.
Yeah.
So
don't head into the
one
new
less thing to
year
worry about.
without the Patreon content, the bonus content of this show that you love so much.
Seriously, if you guys are caught up with all the free stuff, oh man, what better time to join Patreon though? It's a Christmas present to yourself. We have so much on there now.
That's right.
It's just I'm just waiting for our Patreon, like whatever's holding all that information to just crash, right? Because we're just throwing
bandwidth
files
is
on
just-
there. It's just right?
It's stretched
It
to the
can't be-
limits. It's
yeah,
like Santa's
I hope
belt.
Patreon. I hope Patreon is able to keep up with us, man. I hope but Patreon seems to be growing and fixing glitches at a much faster rate now.
Yeah.
If some of you haven't been on Patreon in a year or so, they've definitely been cleaning house. They've
it's
been
gotten better. It's
fixing a lot
improved.
of stuff. I can contest to that. Even the app, the mobile app for Android, which used to be absolute dog shit, is actually pretty good now. I can get on there. I can listen to files from people who I'm patrons of with no problems. And when I go back and listen to our stuff, we don't have any playback issues. So hopefully everyone else is having that same type of experience, but you don't have to use the Patreon app to listen to audio stuff, guys. Obviously, you can take that RSS feed and plug it into whatever app you're using.
And then you
whether
get
it
the
be
badass
Apple
gold.
Podcast
Even our logo changes on your app.
Yeah.
It's not our normal logo for the show. It's the gold Crete Van logo when you listen to our premium episodes. That's a kind of a cool little touch.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
All right.
It's good to know that Patreon, unlike the Cecil Hotel, is evolving and fixing their issues.
That's right. Yeah.
So let's tell them
Yeah,
about
for
our
learning
other
from your
content
mistakes.
under the umbrella of True Crime Guys Productions. Strange and Unexplained.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yes. Strange and Unexplained. Guys, you can listen. It's True Crime Guys production podcast that focuses on unsolved, missing persons, strange phenomena, cults. We just did the Order of the Solar Temple cult, which will be out tomorrow. We're recording this on Sunday, so it'll be out on Monday. So it came out 2 days ago from when you're hearing this. So guy on a motorcycle is interrupting me. Andy's gone. Okay. So yeah, Strange and Unexplained, guys, wherever you listen. Free episodes are released every Monday, and you guys can also sign up on Patreon for Strange and Unexplained as well as patreon.com/S&U podcast. And you guys get early access to every free episode, which will be released on Thursday, as well as access to extra shows that I do like Strange Shorts and The Palate Cleanser. So, and new content is always coming to Patreon, guys. We're working on evolving the show and growing. So we're still working with what works well for us. And yeah, we appreciate all the support for True Crime Guys Productions and the things that we're putting out. Oh, check out our merch too. Right, Lauren?
That's right. Get some merch.
TrueCrimeGuys.threadless.com. TrueCrimeGuys.threadless.com for the most current designs. But if you're an old school creeper, guys, all that stuff is still available. We have people hitting us up on Twitter. They're like, hey, where can I get the old school design? What happened to all that stuff is still there, guys. None of that stuff is gone. It's okay. Don't freak out. Redbubble.com/TrueCrimeGuys if you want.
The links for all this
original-
stuff is in the show notes. So
All of the stuff is right below here. You have to scroll all the way to the bottom for the old school creeper merch. The link actually says creeper merch, but it's redbubble.com/truecrimeguys or kencustom.com/truecrimeguys as well. There's also, remember we were doing like Galaxy stuff a year or so ago, 2 years ago, whatever. Some of the Galaxy True Crime Guys stuff. All of those designs are still available for purchase, guys. So Threadless is just our newest, most current designs. So I just wanted to clear that up. So, all right. Anything else? You want to get some reviews?
we got none. You guys need to get on that.
Oh, well, shit.
Been a slow week.
Wow. It's Christmas, though, man.
You're gonna make us
Christmas
cry
week,
at the end
bro.
of the year. We got no reviews.
That's all right. It's Christmas. Listen, you
People
should
are
be
busy.
focused
We
on
got
your
it.
family.
It's
You
no
should
big
be
deal. We
focused
appreciate
on-
all of you listening and supporting the show in any way that you do. And if you are so inclined, if you haven't done so yet, it would be appreciated if you went and took a minute to rate and review the show. Even if you just click 5 stars and throw some fire emojis in there, we will give you a shout out.
Yeah.
You do have to put something in there. You can't just click 5 stars because then we don't get like the actual review. So you have to have the review in there for us to give you a shout out. And it'll be whatever your Apple ID is, unless you put in the review your name that you want shouted out, and then we'll do that. So yeah, that about does
All
it.
right.
We'll see you guys next week. Keep creeping. Have a Merry Christmas.
guys.
Happy holidays, everybody. Whatever you celebrate.
Happy holiday.
Definitely enjoy it. Spend time with your family safely, as safe as you can. And
That's right.
we're driving hard in that creep van into next year. Let's do this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there'll be episodes out. We ain't taking no time off. So we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
True crime guys, in the desert we like a mirage. It's okay if you clicked on us cause you thought we was True Crime Garage. Now we ain't mad at you, sit down, let us talk at you. I'm talking to the creeper army, we out here making murder, get murder, get murder. True crime guys, in the desert we like a mirage. It's okay if you clicked on us cause you thought we was True Crime Garage. Now we ain't mad at you, sit down, let us talk at you. I'm talking to the creeper army, we out here making murder charming.